The gold-wheat ratio measures the purchasing power of gold in terms of wheat, representing how many bushels of wheat 1 ounce of gold can buy. It's a long-term indicator of value, often showing a 42 to 44-year cycle. Recently, the ratio has seen upward trends driven by increased technological efficiencies in farming compared to mining.
But wait, what do you need first, though, Ransom? What do you need first? You need those people that you just invaded to believe that their lives are going to get better with you in charge, so they don't sabotage all your pipelines and your roads and your railways. That's the key thing. They need to change hearts and minds. Then the other infrastructure goes second. But first, you need to convince the people unequivocally this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread when we are here.
Not being able to buy or sell. I'm not going down the religious path, but they are indeed going in the direction of you having some kind of number, implant, scan, whatever you want to call it, on your forehead or your wrist there, just like the old good book says there, or on your palm.
Oh, ransom's being converted. All right. But not just that belief system talks about it. Pretty much every ancient belief system says it does. In a general term, it talks about a great change of times of man right now, all of them. Now, the way they would describe a great change of a time of man is obviously the way you think, your consciousness, the energy pervading through this part of the solar system or this part of our galaxy, like something that's at that level that changes, that literally changes humanity and changes the earth and all things on it, including like the water, the skies, the jet streams, the wind speeds, all of it changes, all of it.
Right.
That's where we'd be sitting on that. And if I might say this, see, that's also inflation, what you just described to me, because Sally Struthers, she used to be $1 to feed a kid in Sudan, and now they want you to give $20. See the inflation in the ask also. Look at the inflation in the ask on that. That's 20 times greater than they thought they could get in the 80s.
Yeah. They used to say just for the cup of coffee, but now a cup of coffee is like $5.
Yeah, we need 5 cups of buyusacoffee.com/civilization cycle. Thank you for that lead in there, Ransom.
I'm not a good grubber.
No, we don't grub, man. We actually give you value. Do you think we're sitting here talking about these things and not a lot of people are talking about to try to connect them into dots, and that's valueless? You time grabber. Time grabber. You want us to work for free and get nothing out of it except just entertain you? What do you want me to start juggling? The victors write history books, so keep getting the real truth out there. Thank you, William Hooper. Bought us 5 double espressos. So true.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Thank you for that comment. Yeah. Getting the truth out is costly. And the closer you get to the truth, the more strangled you get.
You know, I would take cruises and things like that, but they won't let me take an inflatable raft and some, life jackets and scuba gear and all that stuff in my luggage. They just won't let me take it. Like, I would love to take more flights on airlines, but they won't let me take a parachute, and they won't let me sit by the door.
Well, that's a shame. Hey, that's bad service. I thought the customer was always right.
That's all right, because AI is going to fix everything for us from now on. When you travel on the holidays, the AI is going to fly you. It's going to figure out where your bags go. It's going to help you get through, maintenance, enhance efficiency and experience. Don't worry about it.
Spoken like a true marketer right there, Ransom. I mean,
the only reason I brought this up is because this is how they're going to ease it in there. First, it's taking care of the baggage. Then it's taking care of the, the flights and different stuff online. And then next, it's flying you.
The white glove service never ends, never ends. At what point will people wake up and notice that we're into the extremes and hyperinflating away the actual base of the monetary system, which is money, with every metal that you can name in the dictionary going up leaps and bounds, including uranium, up and up and up and everything up and up. At what point do you think food will follow that? Is my question, because everything is following. Bitcoin's going to follow. All the extra money that's going to get pumped into the system to save it from failing, all that's going somewhere. Everything is following it in turn. Now, whether it's Bitcoin next or whether it is wheat next or whatever, all things shall follow the same trajectory based on fiat.
I was looking for a something like a gold-wheat ratio, but for fiat money. Can't seem to find that.
Well, I have a cattle gold ratio. 73 miles off the coast of Antarctica in waters so clean they're virtually untouched by human pollution lives a tiny organism that researchers believe may be one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients ever discovered. It's called krill. If you've been taking fish oil for heart, joint, or memory support, there's something you need to know. Research shows fish oil is 50% less absorbable than krill oil, because fish oil's omega-3s are in triglyceride form, while krill oils are in phospholipid form, which is the same format your cell walls are made of. That means krill oil gets into your cells immediately. In head-to-head studies, krill oil outperformed fish oil at improving cholesterol, reducing inflammation, and easing joint pain. Native Path Antarctic krill oil is sourced from pristine Antarctic waters, contains the powerful antioxidant astaxanthin, and comes in a tiny soft gel, no fishy burps. For my special bundle offer plus free shipping, head to getkrill.com/adapt. That's GETKRILL.com/ADAPT. Try it risk-free with a 365-day money-back guarantee. Click on that link in the description box below. If you put an X here, if you put cattle gold ratio, there's a chart that'll pop up. It's pretty much equal all the way since the 1980s. What I would take to get a cow, the ratio of 1 ounce of gold to get how much beef, has remained the same for the last, since the 1980s. Last 40 years.
According to the AI Google people, basically gold and wheat have maintained its ratio, purchasing power, in terms of gold, the same pretty much throughout time, fluctuating, showing a 42 to 44 year cycle where sometimes there's more wheat to gold. The gold-wheat ratio measures the purchasing power of gold in terms of wheat, representing how many bushels of wheat 1 ounce of gold can buy. It's a long-term indicator of value. The ratio, historically tending to fluctuate, often showing a 42 to 44 year cycle. Recently, the ratio has seen upward trends driven by increased technological efficiencies in farming compared to mining. But long-term stability. Despite short-term fluctuations, gold maintains relatively consistent value against essential commodities like wheat over long periods of time.
So if the price of silver and gold both, so let's go gold first, went up to $5,600 in the world market and then pulled back because of subsequent fakeness in the paper market, dropping at 10% in an afternoon. And then it jumped back up. So let's say $500 or $5,600. What do you think your food is going to follow in pricing? Because you just said there's a ratio to it.
It seems like it would. That the price of wheat would go up with it in terms of the fiat dollar.
Right. Gold would be priced against the wheat. Gold would be priced against cattle. Silver against something. There wouldn't, like, the dollars wouldn't exist anymore. Like, how many times do you see Zimbabwe dollars tied to something else in an exchange rate? Right. You don't. They're just not used. They're hyperinflated away. What's the value of the Zimbabwe dollars out on the international market against something? It's not even priced in that, except in Zimbabwe, which is a fictitious rate anyway.
There's a lot of problems happening in China that are all catching up at the same time. Actually, China and the United States are similar in a couple of ways as far as having long-term problems finally catching up to them and then having to deal with it. Now, they're not dealing with immigration or any of those kind of things. However, they did mess up their numbers of where they were going to be at this time. They thought they were going to be a lot stronger as far as people, money, empire. It's turning out not to be that, which, unfortunately also makes them kind of like a caged animal in the fact that we have no idea what's going to happen next in China. And that's going to, put shockwaves out anywhere, one way or the other. And I'm thinking Japan, because of where it's located and the position it's in historically and economically, is going to have to break rank and make some deals with its neighbors, which is China. I mean, business deals. So for mutually assured thing, and that's a good thing if that would happen. It's just whether or not the other sectors on Earth are going to let that roll out that way, which I don't think they will. And we know that there's lots of plans going down about who's going to seize the world's resources. Really, there's an emphasis on that. And you can see it with the spread of not only the Russian Empire, but the Chinese and the Americans, where we're grabbing up land and grabbing up treaties because we have everything that we can have technologically, and there's just no place to go other than off the world or to get rid of the other people on the world. And it seems like all the groups agree that that's going to be a portion of the answer. And I think they're going to be able to talk a bunch of people into taking a UBI, getting neutered, basically through your food, water, and medicine, not having any more children, and just disappearing within 1 or 2 generations, like the bulk of the population that basically take the blue pill, go back to sleep, and believe whatever they want to believe, versus the people that see that the walls are closing in worldwide. It's not just one empire, but all of them are trying to seize power and gasping for, maybe the death throes of these empires into something new, which is a question of who's going to be running it and how. And we know it's going to be technological in nature, which means that a good portion of the population has to get out because there's just too many people to keep track of efficiently. But if you reduce that number down, then you don't have to produce as much food. You don't have to produce as much power to control the people left. Maybe it'll turn out to be a technological utopia for those who exist in the future.
Well, you won't have that liability of all those older people that you need to pay on Social Security that are raking in, not $1,600 a month, but like 12,000 a month. Now, just to show you how absurd this is, where we're going now. See, I don't know how all this is going to happen if we don't have any money.
Like, check this out, because if you were to go back to 1960 Iran, most of the people in the Middle East and throughout Europe like to hide their money in different places. So they would put a lot of money in Tehran. But things changed and all of the money left.
Did they really? That Tehran used to be like a Switzerland of the Middle East or something.
Yes, people would go. It was the old Dubai. It was going to be the Dubai that Dubai is today. But now you see a reversal of that right now.
Oh.
Iran's elites transfer 1.5 billion to Dubai as they abandon ship. Another indication that
Yeah, they're gone. If they're moving the money, they're out.
yeah,
For
and then
sure.
we got this. They're going to launch all their drones and make a big spectacle for, it's kind of like the fire that's going out there, and it's got one last little poof of fire and smoke before it goes out. This is the end of the fireworks show here in Iran, and there's a lot of investors all over the place that can't wait for it. I know, and it's funny to me when people are like, "We want the oil, we want this, that." It's not the oil; it's the whole thing. It's the ability to be allowed to do business.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
the oil, it's the gold, it's the silver, it's the manpower, it's the location, it's the transit through their territories. All of that is what it is.
But
And
wait, what do you need first, though, Ransom? What do you need first? You need those people that you just invaded to believe that their lives are going to get better with you in charge, so they don't sabotage all your pipelines and your roads and your railways. That's the key thing. They need to change hearts and minds. Hearts and minds go first, then the other infrastructure goes second. But first, you need to convince the people unequivocally this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread when we're here.
I think it would be easy for the president of the United States to go all the way to the brink of doing something, maybe even a couple strikes, and then just pull completely back. And the whole, craze up until the point will collapse Iran. Iran's gone. I mean, obviously, if the people are moving the money, the people that live there that have the money, the elites are leaving. That's not unlike looking at the U.S. and knowing the billionaires are buying bunkers in New Zealand.
Yeah, and also the popular support is gone. Like, you can't force that back even at the barrel of a gun. Like, the belief system and money itself is eroding and being gone right now in so many places in the world. It's just taken a minute to catch up here into the US. But the belief system of actually the entire system itself, that we can even be taken care of anymore in the old systems, that belief of that system is gone, and there's nothing to believe in any longer. That's what I'm saying. The entire planet is experiencing this. So what is there to believe in next? Alien invasion? Oh, the gods are coming back or whatever. I don't know. That's the only possible thing that can get this whole belief system back on track again.
Here's the aliens right here. I mean, we've been talking long about engineered people. And by the way, that guy that made the engineered people in China just got released out of prison the other day. He created 2 new species of human, 2 girls. He added DNA to them. They allegedly disappeared into the population. He got jailed, but now he's out. So the whole world's forgot about that now.
Did he
But you
keep the
have,
patents on them?
well, I'm sure China, the party owns it. Sure.
Oh, see, I
Um,
forgot. China, there's no patent
um,
protection over there. Come on. Was discovered and patented in China, where you can't patent anything because the technology is always stolen on the patents. That's just like so apropos.
well, they've never cared. I think it was, I don't quote me on the year, but I think it was around 2009 that they created the first part rabbit, part human embryo and got it going where it was going to create something. Supposedly they terminated that, but this is old news. And when you look at this, universal basic income idea and the whole digital system of biometrics, you see that it's going to be a lot less people in this world. And I was bringing that up before. And part of that is by deciding who gets born. You've heard of the Echo Life factories where they can create the babies. In China, they have robots that they intended to use robots where the elderly can now have a child, and that takes care of it. And this is where we cross over into that new world. Is it going to be an alien, or is it just going to be a new species of people that are created by the corporations?
Could we describe the optimized baby, and then maybe people can get a visual out of that? Right there, the
Well,
words it was saying, just above the image there, describe the baby. Smarter, taller, and healthier than
right.
embryonic siblings.
Well, think about this. This goes into why they're going out of their way to catalog metadata in the area of purchasing and medical stuff, because they have now discovered, and I forgot to bring that article up, but they have now discovered that longevity and lifespan is almost 70% genetic. So, in other words, all of these ideas about nutrients and life expansion through exercise and healthy choices, that's a smaller part of it than we thought. Now, they're giving you this wonderful utopic idea, something like the movie Gattaca, where you can just decide that your kid's not going to have any, diseases or chances of this or that. You could decide what color their hair and their eyes are, taller, more muscular, smarter, all of that stuff. But I bet they won't actually let people do that unless you're above a certain level on the biometric system to be able to pick these options like smarter, faster, and things like that. But instead, you'll have a shorter lifespan. They'll be telling 9-year-olds that, all right, you're a factory worker.
Yeah,
You're already,
describe slave class. Just describe a optimized slave.
well, that's what it is. If you don't have money to pay for the eugenics, then you're going to be put in a different class, and your biometrics and your digital ID and your social credit score is all going to be tied up with who you are at the cellular level. And then this opens up the whole world of products for prostheses and peripherals, implants, and all this other stuff that they also are trying to promote the idea of, which allows them to wirelessly control from cradle to grave and decide what he's going to do his whole life, everything from his job to how long he's going to live, or she. But this is where it's going. And you know that all continuity of government programs that are in any of the bigger empires like China, Russia, maybe even the EU, like the Netherlands, who knows which countries are participating, that they are all investing in this because we know it, because they've been doing it with the food for the last 20 years. So now we're moving on to the animal phase of controlling civilization through the genes up, using AI as kind of a mother hen to keep track of everything.
It sounds so like the stories of the Anunnaki creating the gold mining race of humans 400,000 years ago. It's like we've come through
Absolutely.
that and outlived our usefulness because we're getting too smart again. So the very opposite of that would have been stupid or shorter or continually sick. Put that on universal basic income, the money flows right back into whatever companies, and then that money flows right back into the money printing house again.
It's
But the
it, we're
terraformed planet goes right along with that. Have you noticed that that makes perfect sense? If they're trying to bring up a new species of human, because what they had created and what has I hate to use the word evolve, but what has manifested out of us becoming and knowing our surroundings around us is we become too intelligent for the creators of, if you're believing the false gods,
right.
not the true gods or God itself of
They just need
creation.
to they just need to get it down to where there's that person that just never questions anything and
Yeah.
accepts the entertainment and the dog treat, the tasty dog treats from, and They'll be on that digital soup kitchen and not even realize it because they will think that they're getting paid to exist.
They got to reset humanity, literally reset it into a new human species, because whatever magnetic field we're going into, the old one created into this magnetic field is not going to be functional or way too smart. It's going to get the spark of God back because of a new frequency that they was removed genetically, creating the worker class to mine gold for them.
Well, just think about all of the civilized world basically today, and you'll see infertility, less birth rate, all of these things all going to a singularity. And as far as I know, Africa is probably the only continent that hasn't been saturated by these programs yet. Right here, smart dust is already everywhere.
Smart dust is everywhere. We can make a t-shirt.
Microscopic spy sensors, right?
Oh, love them all.
I was already going to show you guys some stuff about
Oh,
where that
adding the microplastics, my day is getting better.
yeah, you got to add
Better
it
by
to
the second with the microplastics and the nano dust. Oh, this is an ultimate day.
right. So you have no idea whose dust is going where. We'll put it that way. Whose dust, what it does, where it's at. We know it's in the food. We know it's in the drinks. You're consuming it, microplastics in your body. Just the microplastics itself, the forever chemicals that go along with it, and they're everywhere. They're in your grass. They found it at the peaks of the Colorado Rockies in the snow. It is saturated on our planet, so it's everywhere.
Well, wait a
Drinkers,
second. Those forever chemicals are not forever. They only last approximately, 10 to 20,000 years. So
right?
they're
You're
not
right.
really forever.
Well, my point being is these things, these microplastics, these smart dust, things that you can't see, are saturating the products. But one of the main things that it's going to be used for is for those people that don't want to opt into the digital ID and the tracking system. We're going to find you
Wait,
wherever you're
explain
at.
that, how that, the smart dust mapping everything too, that was used for forest technologies for carbon sequestration and LiDAR overlaying to see what tree species density was on carbon sucked out of the atmosphere on a per basis, I guess on an acre, and then the number of trees within the acres. They could split it out, 7 or 8 different species of tree. But what are you talking about here? How are they going to be able to track you with that smart dust?
I don't know if you remember this, but back in the 90s, they had a revolutionary new science where they sprayed this chemical that had a specific DNA. And that DNA, it saturated the person. So they couldn't get away with it. If the police found them, they would scan them. That DNA would be on them, that chemical. It's just, like a high tech dye pack in the
That
money.
was after bank robberies, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was for bank robberies. But you noticed how that science just went quiet. You never heard of it again. It was really for a small time. And the reason for that is because they didn't want you to know that you could just be misted anywhere you went. Say you went to a government building to a protest, they could put out a fine mist in the air conditioning
Hmm.
system and they can find every single person that was there, every piece of clothes, backpack, anything that was there that would tie you to that place. So when you see on TV where they can't figure out stuff, they don't know who did what or where they went, they're BSing. They
Take
don't
a
want you
sniffer
to know.
drone out there too. Really, you wouldn't even have to send people, because chemical analysis through drones as well. Like, you could just have drones sniffing that, literally sniffing out. What do you think those nuke sniffer planes are?
Right. Exactly. That's the same kind of relative technology of scanning little particles to know what and where something is. So now we have this surveillance where we can literally, with smart dust, track anybody that drinks coffee or water or bottled water anywhere. And they know exactly where it came from in the way that synthetic DNA works, that all the information of their zone, their area, the store, the manufacturer who made it, all of that stuff is available to track and trace people in minutes, hours.
We talked about this before in a sense of Highlander. Like, if you were able to bomb a nation's data centers and keep their electrical plants online, and then steal or siphon that electricity away from that data center you just destroyed, all that extra power could suddenly be routed into other data centers, which makes them more powerful. This is more about electrical resources on the planet that can be
Absolutely.
rerouted into that computing power. And who wins at the end? There's only one standing. Whoever has that last standing data center fully electrified with no interruptions and capacity to expand while zero others around you have that. you do become godlike in the world because you'll have the only supercomputing power on the planet that can run everything else. And if you allow it to, wow, we got one, now it's going to run everything. Does it make sense? There can be only one. Like think Highlander, there can be only one, or one on each continent.
But we're seeing the same exact things as far as raw material. Everybody thought, you know what? Get rid of change, which is dirty money. Get rid of the pennies, and also corner the market on copper. Silver, processing power.
What are the fastest conducting metals? Yeah, copper's good, but silver's better.
Now think about trading in goods and metals and all this stuff in real-time tracking and tracing. And like we were talking about, you're adding smart dust to stuff to figure out where it went, who used it for what, when they used it.
You sparked a thought with me there. Like I would say metals, the number one performing commodity class moving forward will be metals. Just like you said, if it's going to be in the war effort and everybody's after it, then the metals themselves are going to be a tremendous outperformance of everything else. If it's all about the metals, then it's about the metals.
Rare earth elements also.
Yeah, any of them. Just think about going back to like steel to make structural steel or carbon steel, whatever we can, take what about bauxite, like bauxite mines? Where are those at for aluminum? Where's the iron ore at? I mean, you take a look at tin. We need tin, nickel, all these things too for just like regular commerce.
So they know that there's rare earth elements in places like Peru and all through the United States, Mexico. Mexico actually has probably on par or even more natural resources than the United States. So we can't really let them industrialize. And that's not industrialize, modernize. Excuse me.
Been like that for 200 years, man. I don't think it's going to change.
We have to keep the Western hemisphere with us.
Well, I was just thinking that the consumption that this scare thing of news, World War III, okay, World War III, like what kind of consumptive model is this going to introduce into the public? Because everybody's saving their money right now because they understand that the economy's not doing so well. Things are kind of, switching. We're moving to digital currencies, gold and silver going crazy. So people are holding on to their money. They're not really spending because they're trying to trim back on a lot of stuff. Things are way more expensive anyway. They're just trying to, it takes more money to have the same lifestyle because everything's more expensive. So people are trimming back. They're holding on to the money. So how do you shake that money loose out of people's hands? Because the economy's stagnating a little bit, if you haven't noticed.
Fear.
Yeah, fear. Like, what is this going to drive? Like, what do you think people would buy? Oh, we got to go out and get a water filter. Oh, we need to go out and get the storable foods. We need to go out and get the lights. We need to go out and what are you going to get? Tools, gas cans. I don't know. Walk me through it. Extra fertilizer if you have a farm. Extra, whatever you use on the farm. Extra oils. I don't know. Just think about the amount of consumption by all these people spooked by World War III. I'm just going to go out and even buy extra water. Like, how much money extra is that going to put in the economy? And is it meant to do that? Thanks for joining. I hope you got something out of the video. Please support us. buymeacoffee.com/civilization cycle if you like information like this. That link's in the description box below. If you're excited to start your garden this year with real, authentic, heirloom and organic seeds, to check out trueleafmarket.com. You won't regret it. Happy planting, and thank you for supporting the channel and this broadcast. Click the link in the description box below. And if you would like to be a guest on the Civilization Cycle podcast or would like to suggest a guest to join us here on the Civilization Cycle podcast, send us a message at civilizationcyclepodcast@protonmail.com. And visit us at civilizationcycle.com to sign up for the weekly show notes for the live show every Thursday night, 10 p.m. to midnight. 10 bullet points so you can keep the conversation going with others, and keywords so you can do some of your own research. civilizationcycle.com. We'll see you next show. Bye for now.